Hey, my name is Laura Ferry, and welcome to the My Inner Struggle podcast. I'm happy you're here. I hope you've been enjoying what you've been listening to and watching for the past 10 months, I want to say. This all started off as a blog at myinnerstruggle.com about 9 years ago after going through some major life changes and has evolved through the years as I turned my passion into a business. I became a coach and started writing newsletters and coaching people and having community events and just bringing community and people together. And then I launched a monthly membership service called the Self Love Club, where women can gather to gain confidence through connection and community, to get through hard times, get back on track, help create and achieve goals, and just gain confidence and find themselves again. So that's been quite an adventure. I just finished my first book, and I will be having a book launch February 7th locally, and then it'll be available to all of you as well. And I'm really, really excited about that. So I'll be sharing more information and probably some sections of the book as we move forward toward that release date. But today, I really wanted to talk to you about goal setting. And, I'm not really big on the new year, new you thing, according to my last podcast, obviously. But I do believe that you should have a goal in mind. And what better way to talk about it than now? I have a lot of goals. I've always had a lot of goals. Did I always know how to get there, how to achieve them? No, no. It's definitely a learned skill and something that I've focused a lot on in the last few years as I have been building my business and then helping other small businesses grow as well. I am really passionate about small business and I love working with small business owners. Just giving them information kind of from the other side. I was always that support person for a really, really long time. So I kind of can see both sides of the story and where you might be able to, improve or focus and how to better communicate with your employees too. So that was a tangent I didn't expect to go on. Let's talk about goals. So a lot of people come to me and say they don't know where to start. They might have an idea of like where they want to be, possibly, but don't know really where to start. One of the greatest things that I practice, and if it's your jam or if maybe you've never heard about it before, is creating a vision board. So I think that it's a great visual representation of what you want to achieve and not necessarily having the goal in mind before that. I instruct the people that come to my vision board classes to kind of thumb through the magazines and stuff and just see what they're attracted to and just kind of put it aside. Some people go in with something in mind already, obviously, and I'm about 50-50. Sometimes I'll see something that inspires me if I don't know about like one area of my life or another or whatever. Um, but then other times I have a set goal in mind, and that makes it a little bit easier. But I am a true believer in vision boards, and they actually say that you should study or look at your vision board 3 hours a day. And that sounds like crazy excessive, but if it's in a place that you are all day, you're glancing at it constantly and not even realizing it. Mine is not. Mine is in my bedroom, and it's kind of like where I look when I wake up in the morning, next to my affirmations that I do. And that's all part of the morning routine. And maybe we'll talk about that next week, actually, since, goal setting and then getting a solid morning routine is really crucial to accomplishing your goals. I'm a firm believer in that. So, if you hadn't heard of it before, or maybe you had in some work seminar or something else, creating SMART goals is really a powerful tool. And essentially, actually, let me back up a minute. Creating a goal is really important. I know that there are people that would contradict that, but I think that having something to look forward to achieve gives you purpose and makes you um, feel like you're working towards something. It doesn't have to be like a super, super specific, but um, definitely avoids kind of drifting and meandering or floundering life without a clear goal. Um, Sometimes when you don't have a clear purpose or focus, you can feel kind of overwhelmed or lost and not sure what you're doing. And I've definitely felt that way many times before in various aspects of my life. So goal setting is really important in both professional and personal growth, without a doubt. It gives us a purpose and a focus to look forward to each day. And then it gives that, of course, we'll say, oh, it gives it a purpose. But what does that mean exactly? Is that when you wake up every day, you know that you're going to do like 1% better on whatever the task is to get to where you want to go. It gives you something to focus on during the day rather than being in either a job that you hate going to every day or being in a situation in your personal life that you're just kind of like it's blah. I don't really. I come home after work, I sit down on the couch, I eat dinner, I sit there all night. Not having like a purpose, having passions and hobbies and all of that are great avenues to get to your goals too. Because if it's something creative that you want to accomplish personally, or turn into a business maybe or something else. So, on that note, let's talk about SMART goals because it gives us a good structure on how to create something. We might say, well, I want to own a boat or something like that. That was a really random thing because I don't know anything about boats or how to acquire one, but I'll probably pick a different example. So, um, when you have something in mind that you want to achieve, using a SMART goal format helps you sort of narrow down the specifics of it. And actually, that meaning, the first thing is specific. You want to clearly define what it is that you want to achieve. Instead of saying, like, I want to get fit or I want to work out, you would replace that with, like, I want to be able to run a half marathon or whatever it is. So it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So it gives you parameters that you have to commit to and work towards. So measuring a measurable, so something that we can track our progress, or something tangible that we can achieve. Achievable, is it realistic? That's big. We can say these big, big things and really not even come close to achieving them because it's just not realistic given the time frame. So you want to make sure that it is um, achievable. Relevant would be, does it align with your goal for your larger vision of your life? And generally, I don't know that I've ever met someone that actually, no, I take that back. Definitely some small business owners that um, have a vision in mind and then all of a sudden they get sidetracked with something else. And it's not relevant to what the big goal is at all. Time bound, you have to set a deadline. This is actually how I decided to finish my book. I like was forcing myself to. It was just a month and a half ago or something, and I hadn't really touched it much in some time. And every day on my to-do list was to write. And so I do a lot of writing. I write a blog, and I write two newsletters a week to my email audience. And then as well as like the book and then any content that I'm writing. So I do a lot of writing. So writing is on my to-do list every single day, and that's usually done in the morning after my morning routine. But getting this book done felt like a giant mountain, I will be quite frank. And it was, I can't remember, it might have been at the end of November, and I was like, this is crazy. I have been talking about this book and being done with this book now for like a year, and I thought I got close, and I should say, I did get close, and I kind of lost interest in it a little bit, or maybe it was hard and I kind of put it down for a little bit. But I think it was at the end of November, and I said, I need to get this done. So how am I going to get this done? And you take that goal and break it down into smaller pieces. So I thought, okay, if I can realistically write an hour a day solely towards my book, I should be able to be done in how much time, or how many words can I write in an hour, let alone being inspired, obviously. And sometimes you can't just turn that shit on. That's the problem. When you are a creative person, you have to be in the zone in order to create. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. So you have to allow for that in your time frame as well. So I decided that I came up with sort of a theme, essentially, that I wanted to do a book launch, to get my name out there, get my book out there, to as many people as possible, because all of those people, once they read it, will have planted a seed of their own personal growth. And the more are on track with that, I think we'll just have a better world, quite honestly. So anyway, so when I came up with that, I was like, okay, so I'm going to be specific. My book launch is going to be February 7th. Okay, now let me count backwards. And I literally made a list on a piece of paper with all of that information and broke it down. Okay, I need this many weeks to edit. I need this many weeks, to work on the book cover and all of that. So think about the goal that you want to achieve, no matter how big it is. You could create a 5-year goal. That doesn't really matter. We'll just break it down year by year and then break that down into smaller chunks. So that is literally how I created the goal of finishing my book. And it really, really helped. So sometimes the hardest part is starting something that you want to do. So when you make yourself accountable and you make it time bound, it forces you to get it done. And I know, like you could fudge it and not tell anybody about it, and you're like, if I don't get it done, I don't get it done. That's not the point of setting a goal. There is something to be said, though, too, when you go down a path and maybe it's not, what you thought it might be exactly if you started a new class or something like that. Not everything that we start has to be finished. And I hate saying that out loud, but sometimes we need to change direction, and that's okay. So when we break it down and we divide our goals into smaller tasks that we can get done on a daily basis or weekly basis, it helps drive um, our progress forward, which is really, really important. Part of doing this is actually having a simple action that helps you kick off your work. So as I said before, I do my morning routine, um, and I sort of added that to the end of the routine, and that's actually called habit stacking. So when we do things like out of habit, we all have these different things that we do, and then we might introduce something new to it. So say your bedtime routine is to wash your face, brush your teeth, and get a glass of water. But now you're going to now you want to start meditating, like when does that fit in there? You're stacking at the end of your habits. So I have this morning routine that I do, and I've talked about it before many times, but I like it was life changing. I read a book by Hal Elrod called The Miracle Morning and sort of built it around that. So it's essentially taking all of those good things that we're supposed to be doing and bundling them together in one little package, and then getting through that each morning. So wake up an hour earlier. The acronym for it is SAVERS. So it's silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, and reading and scribing. I'm doing this from memory, and I'm not really good with that. So anyway, so each day basically, I'm looking, I kind of wake up, I come down, I turn on my coffee pot, I'll go back up in my room and I'll sit and do my affirmations and look at my vision board. Then I typically will do meditation, exercise, and then I come up, pour my coffee, and I read during that, and then I end it with writing. I'll write in my journal, and then I will typically dive into a little bit of writing after that, and then get all the kids up and out the door. So that is the morning, and that is how I was able to achieve getting that book done. Take it down into tiny, tiny chunks. Um, and then we stack those habits on top of it. So if there's something that you have in your morning routine that you do normally, you could add something to create or reach your goal towards that. If your goal is to walk 5 miles a day for the next 90 days, where are you going to fit that in? Think about those things. Um, and it's important to remember that you might have a day that's not going to go the way you wanted it to, or the way you planned or expected it to, and that is totally okay. Give yourself some grace. Life happens, it's okay, but get back on tomorrow. Just keep going. Having an accountability buddy is really, really helpful. Even if it's a group of strangers on a Facebook page, I don't know, or if you're a member, of some type of like a book club or a group or anything like that. Reaching out to someone that has similar kind of interests as you is always helpful in creating the goals and then sticking to them. And the accountability helps both of you. So that's exciting and helpful, and helps drive it. I think it's really hard sometimes when you don't have an accountability buddy on something or for something that you're trying to achieve, because it's all up to you. You're the motivator and you're the doer, and it's tough sometimes. And if it's a big goal that you're trying to accomplish, sometimes you need a little push. So um, yeah, so I would highly recommend sitting down and thinking about your goals and creating a SMART goal. And if you need help, I am actually working with people, and I don't normally do one-off sessions with my clients. But if you'd like to set up a goal setting session, I'd be happy to do that. And we can do it virtually, because that's how I do all my coaching. So, you can shoot me a message on social or reply back to a newsletter email if you haven't signed up yet. Check it out at myinnerstruggle.com, so that we can set up that goal setting session for you. Um, I am so grateful that you're here. I am so grateful that I have been able to finish my book and I'm in these final stages of getting it together. And that I was able to use my SMART goals to do that. And I know it sounds so corny, but it really helps and it really worked. Um, I am glad that you're here watching this podcast. If you could give it a like, that really helps me out. And if you know a friend that could benefit from it or love it just as much as you do, please share it with a friend. Follow me on social media on Facebook and Instagram at My Inner Struggle. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. I would really appreciate that. And definitely stay tuned for the book, Is It an Open Bar, coming out very, very soon. And check out the Self Love Club on myinnerstruggle.com. I am thinking of you and sending you love, and I will see you soon.